Hello and welcome to FPL Weekly, and it's a little bit of a special, you could say. You know, it's been a terribly boring couple of weeks with the international break, which we all, me and Chaz hate, and I'm sure anyone listening probably hates as well. Especially the friendly, like I can semi-cope with a Euro qualifier, but a friendly against Australia, just I couldn't care less. If we didn't know already, Bellingham is a freak and he's world class and he's a cheat code. We kind of knew that anyway, but just kind of reconfirmed that. But yeah, more importantly than that, like I say, it's a bit of a quiet time. The good news is, as we've literally just been discussing pre-pod, we've got one more international week from now until game week 21. So next week's game week 9. So there's only going to be one more really. The one that finishes off the Euro groups, and then that's about it.
Yeah. Special mention, I think, needs to go out to the fact that the Premier League was halted on the best. I am in no way at all a rugby union fan, but it halted for probably one of the best weekends of rugby union I've ever watched in my life.
Brilliant.
With the World Cup quarterfinals. So, I think it was good because I do think that if the Premier League was on and FPL was on, my mind would have been switched more towards that than. So it did give me the break to watch kind of a lot of the rugby union. So I do think that was really good. But yeah, my God, I'm happy to have it back, and also the Twitter community is happy to have it back because that has been volatile. Honestly, you need talk about distraction is a good drug. When we don't have that, Jesus Christ, things get bitchy.
That was a big fallout, and then For those who don't know, really quickly, so some random guy decided to do the most annoying FPL content creators, and he did like a knockout.
Mild Shog, aka Johnny, didn't feature. I mean, how? With that smile. Oh,
because no one knows who I am.
I know. If only we had got more traction than the 4 viewers that we get. If only
we would have won. Yeah.
No. You.
And you're annoying as well.
When they do the sexiest, I'll be there. Front runner. I mean,
wow.
Come on.
Wow.
Raptor with his cap. I embrace it. I embrace the
Raptor's fine. I got time for him.
Oh no, I love him. But look at who I'm against from a sexy point of view. Andy.
Leave Andy alone. He's a crewmate as well. Leave him alone.
He's a good
crewmate.
He's
definitely a crewmate. But yeah, so anyway, FPL mate, and the final, and FPL mate won, and Dan won.
FPL mate, Dan won,
and he didn't take it particularly well. I think we'll probably leave it at that without going into a topic about obviously a fairly important and serious discussion about mental health. So it's always a tricky one. It was meant to be a joke that went wrong, and Dan was fine with it initially, and then decided.
Well, we hope
fine
it.
With it.
We, me and Johnny are always probably quite like naive when it comes to all of this stuff, and we do think it was a joke that got out of hand, and there's better ways to label someone than be annoying.
There's worse things to be called.
However, there are worse things to be called.
Yeah, but
there's currently a whole city which is under siege.
Exactly.
So there's greater things that are going on in the world.
Yeah, slightly annoying FPL manager. No, I agree. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I completely agree with you. But I guess when someone says it's bothering them, then you kind of have to. I guess you kind of have to respect that a little bit as well. So it was a really awkward. It was an interesting. Obviously, I followed it, but it was. And now the guy that's made it has got no Twitter account. I'm assuming he's been banned or whatever. So I feel a bit bad for him as well, because it's something that we would do as a joke, right? We would definitely do as a laugh. It's just a laugh. That was the intention.
I commended his skills on photo edit to get all of the faces onto it was my man Bakar. I'm on the car on the, as the Hulk,
Oh, it's
was it the
class.
Hulk or the Rock? Was it something
Something
like
like
that?
that. Yeah,
It was
yeah,
incredible. So yeah,
yeah.
if we could
But
do with a
yeah,
video. We could do with a video editor. So if he's lost
yeah.
his Twitter account and he fancies video editing FPL
If he's
Weekly,
after, yeah, if that's a
yeah,
voluntary job, unpaid,
yeah.
then hit me up.
Unpaid. Jesus Christ, it's got to be unpaid.
Oh, he'll pay us.
We
Yeah,
we already get enough stick for wasting enough time on this stuff with
yeah, that's true.
by our
That's true.
said partners. So yeah. Okay. So
Right,
back to it. FPL.
update.
On the previous pods, I think we kind of discussed a little bit about what we'd already done, which was I'd already made my moves. Johnny was definitely going to be kind of leaving it. The international week was dull in the sense of injuries. There wasn't much going on. The one big one was Robbo, who got injured, and it looks like he's going to need surgery. And I kind of said that, didn't I, when it
Yeah,
happened? I said, like,
yeah,
a shoulder dislocation is, by the way, I'm a physio, works in sport, so I would like to think I know this kind of stuff. A shoulder dislocation, can be as little as a couple of weeks if it's popped back in, bit of rehab, and it could feel really good. It's just that I don't know whether he's had a history of dislocation, but yeah, it's then it looks like he's going to need a Latarjet or a Bankart's repair, and that looks like he's going in for that. Interestingly, that's what Marcus Rashford had a couple of years ago. If you remember, that's a couple of month job. That
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
couple of months. Probably won't see him till
Well, they're saying
mid
next year. They're
mid
saying
2020.
2024,
Yeah,
January,
probably.
early Jan.
I think maybe even later. To be
Yeah,
honest, I would be
yeah,
surprised if we saw him before February.
yeah,
So just
yeah,
because of the volatile nature of it, and
yeah,
it's got to be able to land and do
yeah.
loads of
And
stuff.
it's not,
So
for those that don't know, it's not really the fact that it's Robertson. We never want anyone to get injured. It's not really the fact that it's Robertson because we've never even barely talked about this season. It's the impact that can have, and the community's now obviously talking about Simicast, and he's definitely an option for sure.
but I think
Mostly because of
he's an
the
option because of
fixture
the
run.
run, the
Yeah,
fixture run. Yeah. And the thing is if you look at someone like Simicast, so really interestingly, Botman is due to go down tonight, and that would make him 4.4 also. Okay.
yeah,
Now, personally, Simicast is a much better asset going forward, but whose defence do I want to be invested
definitely
into?
Newcastle's. Yeah,
Definitely Newcastle's.
yeah,
So then you look at it and you think to yourself, in the next 6 game weeks, how many returns are we going to get from a clean sheet point of view from Liverpool? Liverpool's
yeah,
run is amazing, but
yeah,
probably still only about two.
yeah.
But
I agree. I
he
agree with
might
that.
he might get, say,
Like the odd return.
he might
Yeah,
get two attacking returns.
yeah, because he's quite
So
attacking,
then,
isn't he?
oh, he's very attacking,
And he
very
should
attacking.
play. He should play, right? You're not going to throw Gomez out there, probably. He should play.
What is he doing at the club if he's not going to
Yeah,
play when
and I
Robbo's
think
injured?
Klopp is a fan of his. I think.
Yeah. He's supposedly a really good egg around dressing room and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you're not going to take advantage of an injury, then what are you doing at the club? So
Yeah,
therefore, I think that
but
he
he's definitely one I've got an eye on. I'm
put
still
it this
rolling. I'm
put
still
it put
rolling
it
because I
this
want to
way.
see what he. I want
Yeah,
to see one that he starts and two how he does.
yeah,
Where does he play? Is he playing? He's probably going to be bombing, but
yeah.
whether he's going to be in a central role, whether he starts, whether he plays 90 minutes, I'm going to watch the game. Still going to roll, and if I think he plays well, he plays 90 minutes, then it's definitely someone to consider.
Mm,
But I can't get to him in one move anyway. Well, I can, but I have to downgrade the player I don't want to downgrade. So I'd only been able to
mm,
get to him in two moves anyway. Let's say Son gets injured, then next week I can do like Son to Saka and then Lamptey to Simicast.
mm.
But I can't really get there in one move anyway. So I'm still rolling,
Yeah.
but definitely one to look at for sure.
I think if you look at someone like Lamptey, the point 0.5 more he is so much better. Like Simicast is so much
I agree.
better.
Lamptey's just
but
it's
and
the
if
minutes.
you
His price to be played every week is a great option, but it's just a minute. It was more the opportunity without Purvis, but then I say silly. I needed a 3.9 defender. It's more that
if
I
he
wasn't
sits
ever
on
going to play
if he sits on your bench, it's not a problem, is it? It's not a problem at all.
Exactly.
But the other kind of issue when it comes to another comparison to make would be someone like Luke Shaw, who's like 5 point something. I think Simicast is much better than Luke Shaw. United's defence is average. Their run isn't as good as Liverpool's. So therefore, like, you know, I would be investing in Simicast. However, there are still better options than Simicast, in my opinion. So I'm not gonna blow my team up to get him in. You know, I don't think it's like the Gusto situation was at the start of the season where it was like this guy is a dead cert. You've got to go for it.
3.9. Yeah.
But
if and we're not, I've done my wild card, and you sound like you're definitely going to wait. But if you were playing a wild card this week or next week, then he'd definitely be a strong consideration.
He'd be in. But like the whole outlook of my team would possibly look slightly different. And but yeah.
Like I say, wait and see. If he starts, he plays 90 minutes, he's attacking, he looks really good, and he gets to the return, then he definitely opened my eyes. If he plays 60 minutes or doesn't start and has a bit of a bad game and is not that attacking, then I'll just leave it. Because, I mean, Gabriel, I think, is probably the one for me that I've got a bit of an eye on. Arsenal, fixtures turn, he's nailed. Good defence. So, you know, for the extra 0.3, you argue that he's better, but Simicast is definitely an option.
And you mentioned it just a little bit of a time ago, and we've mentioned it on a previous pod. So Johnny's played his wild card. He's gone with that as a little bit of a plan. His game week 8 wild card, which is a really strong wild card for. I'm going to definitely 2 reasons: price and team value. You have caught the wave of so many players. And secondly, you're highly invested into really good fixture runs. Like people are talking about a fixture swing in game week 10. It's nowhere near the fixture swing that was happening in game week 8. Like,
I'd agree.
The reason why I say that is you had 0 Aston Villa players, and Aston Villa players get really good. Whereas the fixture swing towards Arsenal, well, I've already got one. So I only really need to get another one, and then I'm invested in Arsenal. So there's
my move was definitely the right move, 100%. I'm fully convinced that it was the right thing to do. But my hand was forced more than yours. I'm not sitting here saying that you should have done it as well, because my hand was forced a bit more. I had Gusto suspended, Chilwell injured. I had a few players that were in trouble that you didn't have. But it just meant I could dive off and Boomo. I feel like at the right time. You know, it meant I could dive off players that were doing well, that going forward I didn't really want.
So, it
made sense.
So when we've looked at kind of future planning with regards to like my wild card and future decisions moving forward, so I'm pretty much committed, and I'm really happy to be committed into it, which is a late wild card. I'm not going to give a game week away. And the reason why I'm not going to do that is obviously we have game week 18, which is Man City's blank, and the other team who blanks,
Brentford.
So, like, I'm not saying that I'm going to be, but at the moment, that would be Wissa, Foden, and Haaland who blank. So therefore, you know, I'm not saying that I'm going to do it to enhance the blank, but I could dead end my team into that week. So as long as I don't have loads of funds tied up in players like Wissa, Foden, or, you know, I could for one game week go from Haaland to I don't know,
exactly.
you know. So
and then wildcard Haaland back in. His value is going to be 14 anyway. You're not going to lose value in him anyway.
His value cannot go up. How can it go up because his
Yeah, he has to
ownership is so
explode.
high?
Yeah,
It says,
he'd have to
well,
explode.
what? His ownership explodes from what, 1992 to
Yeah.
97?
Yeah,
Impossible. There's
yeah.
the people who don't
There's
have
been
him.
quite a few like in the know that have gone without him. It's quite interesting. Look,
Yeah, but
like listen to a lot of YouTube videos and stuff this week. There's a lot of them gone without him. Obviously, the wider communities still have him, but there's a few experts that have
yeah,
gone without.
I think as the people who are non-engaged, like this has got to be one of the biggest drop-off months now, moving into November, because of the it's been a hard start to the season. I'd say
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
and I know, and then the other point is with all of the kind of um, with all of the international breaks, people lose the mojo with it. So, and those people who fall off it will all have Haaland, and they just leave him in there, and then they're non-engaged. So, yeah. So if we think about people who are getting rid of Haaland, it's non-engaged people. It's very engaged people, and there's still the vast majority of them are keeping him. So I just don't think his ownership's going to change too much.
Yeah,
So
you think you're still going to captain Salah? I haven't really spoken to you about that much, to be fair.
I'm still completely undecided because I'm just going
Yeah.
to wait until the odds come up.
Yeah. The odds
And
stink of Haaland a little bit.
I'm just going to go with the odds. That
I think if you do, and if you look at Salah, FPL Salah's put his thing out today,
yeah,
and I'm pretty sure you look at that and you go Haaland.
What did it, Johnson? I captaincy is not a personal choice.
Yeah.
I almost wish I could just auto select the best anytime go and it just auto select it.
So Haaland is 66%, Salah's 51%. Now you have to factor in clean sheet and 5-foot goal, but still, I think that's enough of a difference for me to go Haaland. The difference between 66% and 51% is quite big. 66% is 51% evens and 66% is 2-1 on. So it's enough. It's enough. I've watched Brighton a lot. I watched every Brighton game, and we are poor defensively. I'm not saying we're a bad side. We're a very good side. I think we could still come top 7 this year, but that's because our attacking is really good, but our defense has been really poor. And it's not no one's fault in particular. It's more the style. The style leaves us open. We got rotating goalkeepers that I prefer Verbruggen, but he's very young. So if you say to me right now, Man City scored 2 goals, I'll shake your hand.
Yeah.
So
I would agree. I would agree.
I'm expecting 3 or 4.
Because I think if they score 2, you could easily score 2.
Exactly. So I'm expecting 3 or 4. So hence Haaland, and I've got a feeling he's got a point to prove as well. I think there's a few people question him a little bit. He's had a few blanks. I've got a feeling he's gonna.
Did he score in the week?
He scored twice for Norway. Yeah. My prediction, and it's not a big breaking news, is he will go ballistic against us or Bournemouth. I'm pretty confident about that. And whoever's gone off him, I just, you know what? I just really hope he does because one, I want him to. One, he's going to help us, but 2, go. What were you thinking, doubting me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he will. I think he'll stand up and go, I'm still shit hot. I've just had 2 bad weeks.
The other reason to go with Haaland, by the way, is I don't think that the Liverpool-Everton fixture is as easy for Liverpool as the odds suggest.
Yeah, agree.
Bear with me. Everton are turd, okay?
Yeah.
However, we've got McAllister, who played for Argentina, like stupid o'clock in the morning on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Then we had Nunes, played Darwin, Diaz. Darwin played Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, and then and Diaz, obviously from Colombia. You take those 3 out of us. Robbo's injured. Alisson played for Brazil. So it's like all of those. early
smelly.
kickoff. It's Everton
Yeah, I think
as
Salah.
well.
They were saying as well. Salah's better with Darwin, and Darwin looks like he's probably not going to start.
Yeah.
Everton are going to be up for it. Yeah, I agree. It's not a
If
favourite
if
to
I
win.
if
But
I if I had if I was doing a free hit team this week, Jota would be so far in my team.
yeah, he's nailed to play. You'd
He's
expect him to be
nailed.
nailed. He's nailed to play.
Absolutely nailed to play. Nailed. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
And I think as well, there's rumours that Alvarez may not start because he was on international duty. It's not sure, but it's a maybe.
But it makes Haaland so
nails
much
Haaland,
nailed,
and he was nailed for 90 minutes.
So
and again, like I said, against a weak defence, we don't know who's going to play alongside Darwin. So they're going to score.
That's the other thing as well. I've really noticed this year, Haaland's not been subbed at all.
Yeah.
Because Alvarez has been playing.
Yeah.
Haaland's not been getting subbed off. Whereas last year it was 65, 70. Yeah. Alvarez had come on for Haaland.
Yeah, so, and the thing is as well, people are forgetting as well, Man City have they had any penalties this year? They had one. I mean, last year he picked up a few penalties, got a few penalty goals. It hasn't really happened this year. So people forget he's on penalties. City could easily get a penalty. He could score a tap in. It wasn't that long ago he had 17 predicted points against West Ham. So, as I said to you the other day, people have short memories. And that's fine. Let them have short memories. That's fine. We'll captain him, and I say hopefully. Obviously, I want Brighton to win, but from an FPL point of view, hopefully he goes mad. And it's not the worst time for him to go mad because some people are captaining Salah and some people have sold him. So there's some weeks obviously that everyone has him, everyone captains him. But this is a kind of week where if he does go mad, it's actually not the worst thing for us. Really. So. Yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of it, really. That's all.
There's not much to say, really, for my plan.
There's
literally nothing to say. Nothing's changed. I'm rolling. I've told you about Simicast. I did kind of touch upon international breaks, a bit of a myth when it comes to injuries, which I still believe in. There's a chance of injuries, but no more so than a Premier League game. So, nothing much to say. And I just don't have a clue how I'm going to use my transfers next week. I've even tried to look at how I could do it, but the only reason I would be doing it is if I get an injured player. I hate wasting one, but I won't waste one. But
you won't waste one. That's
I won't waste one, but I have no clue what I'm going to do because I have 0.0 budget.
No.
And the only way I would go to Matoma is like Diaby to Matoma, and that's a massive sideways move. So we'll see. But we'll see. Look, anything can happen. I might get a suspension. I might get an injury. So we'll see. But
how many Arsenal do you have in?
I have 0.
So that really is a thing that you need to start targeting.
It's definitely a thing that I've looked into,
is how you can manoeuvre to get Arsenal in. So even dropping down players to clear up funds that then sit on the bench.
I completely agree, and it's something I've completely looked at. Now, a lot of people are saying about 10, and that's fair enough. They've got Sheffield United. But after Sheffield United at home, they've got Newcastle away. So I'm happy enough to just
take them
12.
on. Yeah, so if you take them on, I've been taking on Spurs all year, rightly or wrongly. I took on Chelsea, which turned out to be right. Did it? I mean, obviously Gusto hold, but like I took on Jackson all season, and it's worked massively for me. So but
something I've looked at. I'm looking at. By the way, my gut instinct is Martinelli now at the prices. 0.8 or 0.9 saving. I think that's fine.
That's who I'm looking at.
And Gabriel, but like I said, the biggest problem is who for. And it would have to be a Lamptey upgrade. I love Burn at his price. It's such a cheap way into Newcastle's defence. He's actually quite attacking as well. Cash is nailed. I've got so much money invested in him from a cheap price. And I love Porro. Like, he could have easily scored against Luton. So, who do I get rid of to get to Gabriel? I'll need an injury, really. So, I agree with you. Not having Arsenal coverage is scary. But at the same time, I do think they're going to get shared around a bit. Jesus, Nketiah, Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard. Like, there's 6 or 7 players fighting for 3 or 4 spots there.
I know, but you need a piece, mate. Like
I agree.
I've got Saliba, and I'd be having a minimum of Gabriel. And
I think I agree. I want a piece of the defence. I think Gabriel's the way to go. Yeah. But I do think that the attack It's trying to get the correct piece. And I think it's quite easy to pick the wrong piece of that attack. Quite easily.
Mhm.
We could
I
easily
think
go to Martinelli and he might not do anything and he might get rested. We could easily go to Saka and he gives loads of penalties away. Do you know what I mean? So I just trying to get the right piece is the issue.
Yeah. Perfect. So, of this kind of, I suppose, the special part. Well, the special part is inviting you along, you special human being. So, yesterday we did a little kind of reveal. We do this between ourselves about a lot of things. A lot of things. And basically we kind of said, pick your kind of a squad basically who's been the kind of standout squad of the season. Now we attempted to do it in budget. I kind of guessed my way towards getting ours 0.5 over, so I'm happy to drop someone down. I'm happy to drop someone down.
But the thing is, if you think about it, my team value is now 102. So technically, I'd have 102 to work with.
Yeah, I know, but cash.
Yours is based on starting prices.
Mine is based on starting price. Yeah. So cash. Yeah. Anyway. So we'll start off with goalkeepers. I've started with Areola and Turner, and you've gone with Johnston and
Leno.
Leno.
Yeah,
okay.
They're the top two highest scoring goalkeepers. That's all.
How boring are you? Is that what you've done? Just gone on?
Well, no, but they're cheap as well.
4 million and 4 million, mate.
Yours are both fine as well.
I think mine are better.
Save a bit of money with yours.
That's fine.
Yeah. I've got Johnston starting and Leno on the bench. To be fair, I probably wouldn't go. Look, I literally put this together in 5 minutes, but if I'm honest, but
I spent for the listeners and the fact that it's a feature, I spent a lot longer because I'm committed to FPL Weekly.
In hindsight, I probably should have gone. I like Johnston. I should have gone Johnston Turner. Saved a bit of money on the bench. Not that I need to save money because I've gone without a big name, which we'll see in a minute. But probably should have gone Johnston Turner.
And that happens to be my starting goalkeepers. So yeah.
You got a little bit lucky with Johnson. I remember I mentioned to you at the start, I'm so close to Johnson. I actually clicked on Johnston, but I missed the deadline of the first game week, and I went Flecken instead, and he did fuck all. But you got a bit lucky with Johnson. Henderson was signed to be number one, got injured, so you got a little bit lucky there. Although Johnson has done well, but I do think their plan is Henderson number one.
You're so bitter. Like at no point have you said, "Well done, Ches." Yeah, you nailed it.
Right was it a better pick than Flecken? No.
Yes, well done.
You're a better pick than Flecken. You got a little bit fortunate. That's my opinion.
The man.
To me.
Yeah, man. No. Okay.
Move on.
Okay. quickly. So there is. By the way, I've just seen your bench. Blank. It's mate. I mean, you've not even put so much effort into it that we can go. Like, you could at least just write Gusto because he's 4 million and
Lamptey and Charlie Taylor. There you go.
So why not Gusto? He spiked the 17 points.
James is in training now, so and Chelsea's rubbish.
It was a between the start of the season and now. Okay.
Yeah, he has had a red card in there, mate.
Yeah, but hopefully you would have benched him on that red card week.
Yeah.
And then you spiked the 17 pointer. Anyway, I won't invite you to do this again. You're going to have this negative attitude.
The idea was to put an 11 out there, right? And you don't want to have a squad of 15 players that could play, really.
Okay, right. So we've both gone with Anderson. I think he has been if anyone spiked him at the start of the season, well done, because
he's had a great start. He has. Look, let's be completely honest. He has overperformed his what he should have been doing.
Yeah, of course.
Like if you biff one into the top bins at Old Trafford, and you're overperforming your XG slightly. Do you know what I mean?
I love it.
He's gone up to 4.9, and Guehi's still on 4.5. Is he a miles better player than Guehi? No. Do you know what I mean? He's just.
But he did biff one in the top bin. So
he's kind of narrowly avoided the blue shell just before he crossed the line. Do you know what I mean? He just kind of. He's run pretty well. He's run pretty well. But of course, he's had a great start to the season. I'm not saying he hasn't.
Yeah. I've gone with Saliba and you've gone with White. I just think that Saliba was if you were listening to deadline streams and you got the news and you trusted the news, I want to say well done to you. That's what I want to say. Obviously, me and Johnny are sat here as Saliba owners during that time, and look, we don't like team news, but it's a way that the people who are invested and dedicate some time, it's the 0.1% that we have over the field.
With the Gabriel
yeah. And White was, probably a little bit more overlooked.
Expensive. He's just the problem is he was 5.5. So if he was the same price as Gabriel and Saliba at 5, then he's a big option. But you're never going to pay the 0.5 more. The main reason to just put him in is just because of obviously the points he's been creating, and obviously he's been a bit overlooked. But I think, as an option, you'd go Gabriel for $1 million less for sure.
Yeah. And then my other one was Trippier, and you've gone Undogi. I think both of them you could. I think Undogi, if you spiked Undogi at the start, well done as well.
4.5 million? 4.9. I think he's 4.5 to 4.9. Yeah.
Yeah,
Trips. I agree, but he's had. We split this first 8 weeks into half. The last 4 have been really good. The first 4 were crap. So I agree. Now he's almost essential. I mean, I'm going without him, which is a bit scary, but he's almost an essential player now. But I think he's got 5 assists in his last 3 games or something like that. So don't get me wrong, the last 3 have been exceptional.
He's actually annoying me a little bit.
Yeah, he's overperforming Theta as well, though, mate. He's overperforming Theta massively. 3 assists in 1 game is unheard of.
Yeah, maybe, but he's just a really good player. So,
absolutely, he is on set pieces. No, I get it.
So,
I get why it's a good option.
Is his data based on the average right backs in the league, or is his data?
No, I understand that.
Or is his data based upon him, Trent? Because they're the category of people. So
I think because I've got a piece of the Newcastle defence, it's less of a risk for me. Because if Newcastle keep a clean sheet, I've got a piece of it. So I'm literally just trying to dodge a Trippier assist and I'm saving 2.2 million. I'm happy. That's a kind of it's a calculated risk, put it that way. And he may prove me wrong, but there was other defenders I wanted to go for.
Yeah. So we've both gone for Salah. I obviously started the season with Salah, and he got me 3 returns, and then I got rid of him.
Yeah.
Still, I think in hindsight, I was just so set in my way from my plan. Does that make sense? And I think that's probably a negative from my behalf, that I should have been like, Salah's playing really well. He's returning every week. What am I playing at getting rid of him? So
the only week we won't bring it up again. The only week he hasn't returned has been the week where you had the goal disallowed at Spurs, and he would have got the assist. So, all being well, he would have returned every single week. 8 games.
Yeah.
And I was a bit lucky in the fact that it was a good option, and I'm glad I played my wild card. But I was a bit lucky to obviously I brought him in 1 game week, bang, 15 points straight out of the gate. So, but yeah.
And then I've not gone with Son. I've gone with Maddison. I think
same Maddison, just to shoe in.
Yeah, Maddison
7.5. He's outperformed his price.
And then the other person was Saka.
I think it's 8.1 now. Maddison's gone from 7.5 to 8.1.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of traction and hype around Spurs, and he's a fashionable player to get in because he's popular on social media. I do think that plays a big role. and he scored a lot of points. Don't get me wrong, but like Salah isn't that player as well, and Salah has massively outperformed him, like from a points point of view. But people aren't talking as much about him, and I know Price has a big thing to say about it. But anyway, I put Mbumo in, and you put Bowen. I just think that Mbumo is it would have been the sensible choice from day one, and I went with a strategy of Wissa and Matoma, and you went with a strategy of João Pedro and Mbumo. And I think we calculated it, didn't we? At like week 5 that we were dead even. Basically, we were dead even with them.
And Mbumo got me out of trouble quite a few weeks. Like he ticked over really nicely for me. But then, like the only reason I sold him was 1, fixtures, 2, there were better options on my wild card, and 3, the fullback thing started to worry me. So there was a couple of games he was literally playing fullback. It was really out wide, wasn't that attacking? And I think I watched the Forest game and just did nothing, and could have easily had a penalty there. But you know what I'm saying? It's just concerning. Longer term when Tony comes back, So I just think there's better options. And I mean, I gained 0.2 on him, so he went from 6.5 to 6.9. I sold him for 6.7. He's gone down 0.2 now, so I kind of felt like I got off at the right point.
Yeah, you did. You did.
But yeah, don't get me wrong, he was a great pick for me. I mentioned him pre-season as one to look out for pre-season. So,
mate, you mentioned
I'm very sweet on him.
The release of the game, like you know, and it wasn't, I don't think it was an inspired like Wang choice, but like it was.
He just ticked a lot of boxes with Tony being out on penalties, nailed, good player. Ended the season really well. So he just ticked a lot of boxes. But I think it's important as well in this game not to get too invested in the player. So what I mean is, I loved him. He was a great option. I was so sweet on him. I was saying, why doesn't everyone have him? But don't get carried away with that. And I looked at a wild card and I thought, is he one of the best 5 options in midfield as of right now? Not quite. He's in the top 10, but you can't have 10 midfielders.
By the way, I think that's a really, really, really good point, because there's players that I've become a little bit like that with, especially when you've got a lot of money invested in them as well. Because you start to think, but if I want him back, I have to pay a lot more for him.
One of mine is Bruno. I've got a massive soft spot for Bruno. I still think he's a great option. He's creating great data. He's a fantastic footballer. I shot myself in the foot a little bit. There was one return I did get. I had him on the bench, but like I still think people are giving up so quickly on him before they've got Sheffield United away. Like I'm a little bit jealous that you've got him for Sheffield United away. Could he score? Could he haul? Could he get a goal and assist? Of course he could. Of course he could. He'd get a penalty, like whatever. Like he's such a huge part of what they do. Free kicks, penalties, good player. Look at the goal he scored against Burnley. So people jumping off too quick. I understand it because he's been letting people down, and I get the Rashford thing. Could Rashford score? I winded you up earlier. Could Rashford score a goal or 2 this week?
No,
of course he could. Of course he could.
Don't. I'd cry.
Of course he could. So what I'm saying is, like I say, don't get too. But vice versa, not put a player on your side because you don't. Anthony Gordon. I've always been a huge anti-Anthony Gordon, massively anti him. Never rated him. Still don't particularly rate him, but he's in my team because Newcastle are a good side. He's nailed because of Harvey Barnes, and he's very creative. I'm not saying he's the finished article, far from it, but he could easily win penalties. He could easily get an assist. He could easily get some tapping. So what I'm saying is vice versa. Just because you hate a player, I'll say hate. Just because you don't particularly rate a player doesn't mean you shouldn't have them in. But also don't get suckered into being biased on some players. And then, do you know what I mean? Just try and play FPL. I'm not biased towards Brighton whatsoever. I'm literally just trying to play FPL. That's important.
And on that note, Watkins, absolutely hate him. So he's just such a troll, from my team. Like when I don't have him, he scores loads. When I do have him,
Bowen trolled me. One of the reasons I didn't have Bowen on my wild card is because I feel like he's a bit of a troll. So I remember I brought him in. I thought it was a good option. Then he missed a penalty at Anfield and stuff like that. So he's trolled me a little bit before. Yeah. I think there was one where they got a penalty and he gave it to someone else as well. I was like, oh my god. So he trolled me a little bit before. And the thing is as well, you try not to base it on previous experience, but sometimes you can't help it. Do I think Bowen is a miles better player now than he was then? Not really.
No.
Not really.
No.
For as long as Antonio's starting, if Bowen starts to play up front, then he'll kind of open my eyes a little bit. But for as long as he's playing where he is, I'm happy to just leave him. He's a good player, but I'm happy to leave him. I think it's better options.
So yeah, Watkins and Alvarez, we've both got him in our team. And for obvious reasons, you know, Alvarez,
when City's fixtures get good again, Alvarez is a shoo-in, really.
6. Well, but when they get good, things, De Bruyne will be back, which brings risk from Alvarez. Ultimately, I am going to go out on a whim and say, I think if you went with Alvarez at the start of the season, you have been biblically lucky with the returns that you've got.
So close.
Can I explain? He's 6.5 striker, and he's playing in midfield.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, his data isn't great.
Yeah,
and City have been, I'm going to say, off the boil when it comes to the standards that they set last year. They won the treble, so like those standards are sky high. But generally, their team has been a little bit off the boil. And you've managed to spike the amount of points that you have from Alvarez when he is less than half the price of Haaland and you're playing in the worst position and scored similar points to Haaland.
I agree. I so nearly went there as well. Like, the only reason I didn't go there in game week 1 is because I didn't get confirmation he was starting. So it dripped through Foden starts, Doku starts, blah, blah, Haaland starts, blah, blah, blah. The one player no one mentioned was Alvarez. If I was confirmed he was starting.
Wasn't it Foden not starting?
Yeah. No, I knew Foden was starting, so Foden definitely started, and hence why I started Foden in my team from game week 1. And he did okay. But if I'd have got the confirmation that Alvarez was starting, I would have had Alvarez over Jackson, and that was a 30-point swing for me. Right, but anyway.
Yeah. And then you've gone with, I've gone with Haaland because I just think that the sensible players to have Haaland, and you've gone with Archer.
I wanted to enable my team a little bit. You obviously went over budget.
Oh my God! Right, okay. So I've done a whole bench, and Matty Cash is on the bench, so I could just drop Matty Cash down.
So far,
I've also gone with Gusto, and I've also gone with Neto, who I could drop Neto down. So piss off.
Has Haaland lived up to 14 million price tag so far?
Absolutely not.
That's the only reason I didn't have him. We're looking for players that have lived up to or over exceeded their price tag. Everyone I've got in my team has gone up in price.
You are under exceeding your FPL content creator.
I just look. You're looking for team of the year. Is Haaland in the team of the year so far? No. Will he be in the team of the year come the end of the season? Probably, yeah. Is he in one right now? Nah. I'll have him because he scares me not having him. Has he been exceptional so far? No.
You're about 300 miles away, and I can smell you from here.
You look like you're trying to smell me. You got right up close to the screen.
You reek so bad.
Why? Not in the team of the season, mate. Come on. Watkins he's ripped us to shreds. He's on loads of points. He's on the joint top points scorer this season with Salah. Alvarez is Alvarez. He's gone from 6.5 to 7. He's got loads of points and he's over exceeded his price tag. And Haaland's under exceeded 14 million. Simple as that. I talk sense. You just can't handle it.
Your team value is like
if Haaland was 12 million, he'd be in my team. He's 14 million.
I reckon if we counted, and we've not done this by the way, and we should have done it probably, but yeah, that's maybe why we're only getting viewed by about 6 people. We should have probably counted up the amount of points that these teams would have had.
Probably.
But
yeah,
I can't be bothered doing it right now. However, I think my team's better.
Well, yeah, it's more expensive. You've got Haaland. I reckon my team.
But it's not. It's not get the cheapest players.
95 million.
But then change it.
No, because I want team of the season. Haaland's not in team of the season. Simple as that.
Right. Oh, sorry. I forgot when like Archer has outscored Haaland.
Archer's
Anyway.
is a good enabler.
Oh Jesus! Enabling to have a cheap team.
Enabling Salah, Son, Saka, Maddison, Bowen.
I know, but who scored more points, Son or Haaland?
It's close, isn't it? Probably.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, but Son's 9 and Haaland's 14.
Right.
Haaland's
Right.
got. Check this out. Haaland's got 55 points and Son has got 54 points. 1 point in it for 5 million. Son basically just had those 2 hauls. Arsenal away and Burnley away, where he just went absolutely mad. Apart from that, he's been pretty average, but I think he's still a very good asset. We still don't know who's on penalties for Spurs, which is really annoying, but I think it's going to be Son. And also, we need to see when James is back if he's on penalties, because holy moly, when he scores that first penalty, we jump on board with the whole of the FPL community queuing up to get Reece James on our side. So anyway, and Cole Palmer, by the way, because Cole Palmer currently is on penalties. Wow, what an option!
Oh, I hate that as an option.
What an option! 4.9 midfielder, 4.9. He's on penalties.
I hate
it. When their fixture run turns, he's an 8 million midfielder for 4.9.
Hate it. Right. Anyway,
on that bombshell,
I'm done. FPL's back, baby.
Exactly. Next week we'll have loads to talk about and sulk about, probably.
Oh, can't wait to sulk again.
At least one of us next week is going to be so angry.
By the way, I think this is possibly going to be one of the biggest single game week scores in this season. I think this game week, we could be looking at an average of around about 65.
I think 65, yeah.
I think there's probably about 7 hauls in everyone's team this week. So 7 hauls.
Everyone's team's looking pretty good.
7 hauls.
At the moment, my first sub is Luis Diaz against Everton.
I don't think that's a terrible first sub because I don't think he's going to play. 7 hauls is 35-ish. Add the bonus points, probably 40 to 45. Add that onto the 0. Add that onto the basic, which is 24 points with your captain. Therefore, you are looking at baseline, as I say, 65 to 70. I think the engaged managers are going to be hitting 100 this week. I'm being deadly serious.
Hope so.
So we will see you next week. Normal back again. This will be going out over the next couple of days just before the deadline, hopefully. And we will be back.
Yeah. See you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.